Setting down, everything in the green.
Greetings, Captain.
See that shroud covering Neon? Believe it or not, you're looking at the only city in the settled systems that powers itself from lightning.
I heard there's shortages over at Reliant Medical. Not great. Doc Manning better get his act together before the place shuts down.
Snippers picked up the Aurora you're carrying the second you stepped through.
All right, get up slowly and turn around. Try to run, and we open fire. So, what was your plan, Mission? Smuggle the Aurora into Aquila City or New Atlantis?
No, I just forgot I was carrying it, was all. Honest mistake, right?
Can't we just settle this right here? I can pay the usual.
We don't make the rules. That's Administrator Mayor's job. Now, shut up and start walking.
Move it! Let's go!
I'm not in the mood.
I was finally turning things around.
Ryujin Industries is looking for the young
Interesting. This district certainly provides evidence
Better
that
not be a waste
Ryujin's
of my time.
influence has spread from their tower and out into the city.
Yeah? Buying, selling, or moving? Alright, smartass, let's cut the bullshit. You either walked into the TA to buy some goods, sell some goods, or have some liberated goods taken off your hands for a reasonable price. So, instead of wasting my time making me explain how the business world works, let's get a move on. Now that's what I'm talking about. We both want to make some money, so what'll it be? You got the money, or the goods. You done here? Time to move on.
If you're looking for supplies, this is...
Welcome to Newell's. Let me know if you need help with anything. Do I sound that awful? I didn't even realize. Terrible, just terrible. You'll have to excuse me. With all the ruckus my husband's been making at the Merchant Alliance meetings, it's difficult to get any rest. Poor old man has himself mixed up in a foolish crusade against Dietrich Sieghart, who he's angry at for paying off Neon security. He runs Sieghart's Outfitters. It's right outside the spaceport terminal. I suppose you could say he's our only real competition. If you ask me, he isn't such a terrible person. Please don't tell James I said that. It's a little group James formed, with some of the other vendors on Neon. I'd call it more of a support group, because all they do is sit around and complain about how hard it is to run a business here. I'm not taking anyone's side. I just want all this infighting among Neon store owners to end. I think my husband has Dietrich all wrong. He's probably doing what he has to do to survive. Just, please don't tell James I said that. I don't want him to think his own wife is doubting him. Oh no. I'd hate for you to get sucked into the whole silly affair. It would be so lovely to see my James happy again. He used to smile at me all the time, you know. Now all I see is worry on his face. I suppose you can speak with him about it if you like. But perhaps you'd like to browse our store a bit before you do? Okay, here you are. Stop by again soon.
Got those two. Don't even bother with
Want to challenge your instinct? And hone those corporate skills?
I wonder if the Broken Spear is still open. It's the only decent place in town to grab a drink.
Used to think I was Vanguard material.
Hey, you're back! Oh, I hope you got the book I asked for. Can I have it? Oh, thanks a bunch. Oh, I can't wait to read it again. And then put it away for safekeeping so it holds its value. Here's some money I promised. Track down another volume of Dragon Star Force. I'd definitely appreciate it if you could help me out again. I appreciate it. I'll be sure to make it up to you.
Something right for once. So, big shot. I hear Adler thinks you're good enough to join our crew. You betting your life on that? Because the only way out of our organization is with a warhead up your grab drive. So, before I put you to work, let's get everything out in the open. I don't know if Adler mentioned it, and for his sake, I hope he hasn't. But you aren't about to sign up with any average pirate crew. You're signing up with the Crimson Fleet. That's if you get through this little task I have planned for you. There's a medical supply ship called the Ragana, jumping into Enceladus's orbit. On board that ship, you'll find a traitor named Austin Rook. I want him dead. Kill Rook? That's your only option? If you want my advice, there's only one way to guarantee he dies. Turn the Ragana into space junk. Only way to be sure. It's done when Rake stops breathing. Head back here when you're finished. And don't keep me waiting for long.
Pilot of the Ragana. We are a simple transport ship heading to New Homestead. We do not want any trouble. I was afraid of that. Look, we are not built for combat. What is it you want exactly? Oh, God. I do not know.
Keep in mind, we're not threatening to board you. We're asking. The distinction is rather important.
Well, normally I would say no, but frankly, it will be safer for us that way. All right. You can dock. We will talk then. not sure what to make of you being here. If you wanted to kill us, you could have done that from your ship. If you wanted our cargo, we could have jettisoned it. I guess I should just stop talking and let you say your piece. That is true. Which means you don't want somebody to know what you are really up to. Now, do you mind telling us what this is all about? You really do not know which one of us is Rake, do you? And you do not seem to care either, which makes me think you really want to save him. Okay, I have idea. We can strike his name from Manifest, make it so he was never on board. Then, when we dock, we will leave him on this ship and deliver him to another port. That is fair. We do not want any part of the fleet. Is that all right with you, Austin?
Do I have a choice?
It does not appear you do. Well then, it is agreed. You go back to your ship and we will make sure Rake was never on ours. And in case any of your handlers get suspicious, here. We had an extra crate of supplies loaded, in case one got damaged. This should be proof you were not here to bargain.
I thought we were dead. I can't believe it.
The frost is starting to interfere with my instruments.
Be careful around the fleet. They talk about family, but it's just a bunch of crap.
I'm sure they're sad to see you go.
Damn Mercs just don't know how to take a hit. Hey, what the hell is with some target practice? had it under control, but it definitely went faster after you jumped into the fight. Now tell me about the Ragana. Give me some good news, then we can go celebrate. Huh. No kidding. That'll make Delgado happy, seeing as our hands are clean. I would have preferred if you hadn't left witnesses behind, but at least you got the job done. Anyway, you wanted into the Crimson Fleet? Well, you're in. Yep, it's that simple. Hope this business with Rakes taught you something. Because I'm about to stick my neck out and vouch for you. If you screw up, and I wind up looking like an asshole, I'm gonna send someone after you. We clear? Yeah? Last person who said that was Rake. So you've already dug yourself a hole about 6 feet deep. And now that you know the deal, it's time to see what you signed up for. I'm gonna upload the coordinates for our headquarters in the Crick system. Spacers call it the key, the fleet calls it home. Head out there as soon as you can. Don't keep me waiting long.
Well, we're in. I hope you know what you're doing.
Acknowledged. You're clear to dock at docking port 1. The commander will be waiting for you in operations.
We have a clean dock, right on the money.
Commander Ikonde wants to see you. Follow me.
Captain, hello. I am satisfied to see that you survived your most recent sleep
Hope I'll be
cycle.
able to see him next time we're on shore leave.
Maintenance crews are the unsung heroes of the Vigilance. Ensign Betty does a ton of work keeping things shipshape.
The Vigilance is our flagship. Where it goes, first mission in the books and no casualties. Good work.
We got the message from the Ragana about Austin Rick. We had him dropped off at a separate port, off the books. Suffice to say, he's got a lot to answer for. That was quick thinking on your part. Selfless and creative. Our regular agents can be a little too rigid, because they're trained to follow orders.
It's a clever gambit, Commander. Adaptability is key to the success of this operation.
Oh, one more thing before we move on. For transparency's sake, you should know we were the ones that hired Ecliptic to attack Neva's ship. There was concern after what happened with the Ragana that you might have trouble earning Neva's trust. Coming to her rescue ensured that would not be a problem. Let them remember, they have no idea who actually hired them. I'd suggest you spend less time worrying about us and more time being concerned with the task at hand. On that note, how did things go with Neva? Were you able to join the fleet? It's a dangerous plan, and you came awfully close to killing an innocent crew. Luckily, you have a good head on your shoulders, and did the right thing. Now it's time for the next phase of the mission.
Our intel on Saoirse was correct. After we received reports on your interaction with Adler Kemp, we picked up on your rendezvous with Neva Mora.
Our files indicate she's second in command, so getting on her good side will ensure you get into the Crimson Fleet. Yes, you passed your first test and you're still alive. But before we get too confident, that either means she suspects nothing, or she intends to make an example of you later. Just remember, these are ruthless criminals, so don't let your guard down.
And their ruthlessness is only surpassed by their cunning. You should proceed with caution, regardless of how well you think you've ingratiated yourself.
So what's next for you on Neva's agenda? Where you'll meet Delgado, no doubt.
Delgado is the leader of the Crimson Fleet. I have a profile here with some information on his background. You'll want to know the individual cadences of every member of the fleet, but Delgado's most of all.
Agreed. The last thing we need is to infiltrate the fleet, only to be kicked out because we've underestimated one of their people.
I don't disagree, but it's important to know your enemy, and the best way to defeat them. In any case, now that you're with the fleet, you'll be operating independently. We will shadow you eventually, but we'll need to maintain our distance for now, especially while you're on the key. This will also give us time to bolster our defenses, should we need to engage with the fleet in the future.
Sir, on that note, shall we begin implementing the upgrade to our shields?
Immediately, Lieutenant. Notify the engineers and relay the information to the crew. I hope your entry into the fleet has overcome any doubts you may have had regarding your mission. It certainly increased my estimates on success. Keep up the good work. We'll expect further reports. Dismissed.
We got a wager going over whether
We don't have a full map of the fleet's roster.
Dead.
The members change too quickly.
Unless you're a zombie.
Excellent. Let me have it, and I'll upload it to our database. I have to hand it to Neva Mora. Lady's thorough. That facility on Crete still holds a good bit of valuable resources and equipment. All right, can't do much with this one except pass it over to the military. Hopefully they stop denying the base's existence and do something about it. That it? Understood. Keep searching and you're bound to find more. That's right. It's something we've requested a while ago, in preparation for a future conflict with the fleet. Once we finalize everything and run a few tests, we'll have the defenses needed for a jump to the Crick system when the time comes. The system was originally called Alpha Ophiuchi, until a flag was planted there by Jasper Crix, the founder of the Crimson Fleet. Since it was crucial that space travelers avoided that system, navigators marked it as Crix on star maps as a warning. They could have just as easily labeled it Crimson Fleet, so I'm guessing the pirates themselves were responsible for spreading their leader's name. Over the years, people forgot the system's original designation and started calling it the Crix system. It's been that way ever since. Good luck on the key.
Captain, greetings.
Off right away, or do you need a little bit of time?
We've detached. Let's get out of here.
acknowledged. Duck where you like.
Nice clean dock, Captain.
Get out of my face. You said the take was 10K, but it was 30. Big difference on 40%
How can
of
I
10
be of service,
versus
Captain?
30. You wanted 4K, you got 4K. Not my problem. If you're stealing from me, you bet your ass it's your problem.
Look at this.
You kidding me?
Captain, do you
Way to
require
make a
my
mess
assistance?
in front of my new Rook.
Hey, steal from me and get caught? Better off dead.
Sounds like you did the fleet a favor. Now toss this body out of an airlock before it turns into a damn air freshener. The hell took you so long? Forget how to grav jump or something? Please. It'd be one less sloppy Rook whose mess I had to clean up. The last thing I need is another Austin Rake getting cold feet. You want to leave the fleet? You pay the price. Not in credits, but in blood. I don't care. Time is money and you've wasted both. That ends today. Clear? But, all that aside, you made it. So now, you get to hear a nifty history lesson. Pencils ready? Good. This floating scrap heap you're standing on is called the Key. Used to be an old UC military star station, and now it's the fleet's base of operations. Might look a little beat up on the outside, but we keep it together. Hell yeah, it is. Just watch your back when you do. Cred sticks tend to disappear around here, if you catch my meaning.
We'll be certain to keep a close watch on our belongings.
Anyway, I'll tell you all about the Key. But it's better if I show you too. Follow me. All right. History time. So, the Key is in orbit around Suvorov. That's the very same ice ball where the United Colonies built a supermax prison they call the Lock. The UC is so clever. Supermax prison, Lock, Key. Cute, huh? Now, we've got everything the fleet needs right here. Of course, you've got to pay for it. Remember, on the Key, credits are king. What the hell is this?
All right, hang on, Nev. Before you get pissed, I've got my hands full.
Jasmine, sweetie, I'm trying to give a tour here. So you want to tell me why those damn doors are sealed?
It's called a malfunction. You know, that thing I spend most of my day dealing with. Believe me, my people are on it. Have a little faith for once.
Aw. And you always, Angel. This here's Jasmine. You need anything for your ship, she's got you covered. We'll hit up the depot next since these doors have given out on us. So anyway, we were talking about the Lock. About 100 years ago, the prisoners down there rioted and took over the place. After stealing some ships, they were actually able to make it up here and took over the Key.
You're just ticked everyone's getting wise to your ridiculous prices, Aludra. Anyway, welcome to the depot, Rook, where you'll be lucky if these blood-sucking leeches don't bleed you completely dry.
Whoa, whoa. It's not our fault if people don't appreciate how much it costs to get untraceable merchandise onto the key.
Neva's just whining because she thinks she lost a ton of cash selling us a shipment of gear. She should have done her homework.
Yeah, sure, laugh it up. I'll remember that next time I need something from you cheapskates. Let's move on. Back to my story. After the liberated prisoners grabbed the key, they established it as a base of operations and began pirating the spaceways. That was how the Crimson Fleet began. Of course, Jasper Cricks had a lot to do with all that, but we'll get to him later. Rook, meet Zuri, Queen of the Rare Exports.
If I don't have it, you don't need it.
Neuroamps, blueprints. Hit her up and she'll take care of you.
Speaking of which, you still owe me for that last purchase, Neva. It's like 5 figures. Don't make me collect it the hard way.
The hard way? Oh no. Rook, protect me from Zuri's vengeance. Enough of the bullshit, Zuri. I'll pay you when I pay you. Deal with it. Got a problem with that? Take it up with the boss.
Don't even try to rip me off.
Got Bradley from the trade
value when I see it.
I'm sure you know the deal there. He'll buy pretty much anything, no matter how hot. Then we got our med bay on the left, run by the one and only Samina Mizra. She'll patch you up, if you've got the money. We don't run any free clinics up in here, you don't? Okay, this is our final stop. Over there, you've got the Last Nova, where Bog serves watered-down drinks at ridiculously exorbitant prices. And right here is the most important place on the entire station, the Reckoner's Core, run by the incomparable Shinya Voss.
Another new Rook, Neva? I can't believe Delgado still lets you recruit given what happened with the last one.
You mean Austin Rape? It's been taken care of, all right? I don't like loose ends, and this Rook is the one who tied it off.
Perhaps next time you'll try to be a bit more discerning regarding your choices. It's far more cost-effective.
Yeah, love you too, darling. Anyway, Shinya handles our lifeblood. The money. We call him our Reckoner, but if you ask me, he's actually a pain in the ass.
And Neva will slit your throat if she thinks you'll bleed creds.
Go to hell, boss. Take care of our new friend here, or I'll find a way to pull the pin on that little party popper in your chest. Anyway, Shinya will get you set up in our system. I've got real work to do. Once you're done, head upstairs and I'll introduce you to the boss.
Time for a proper introduction. I am Shinya Voss, the official reckoner for the Crimson Fleet. And since Neva so thoughtfully mentioned it, yes, this is a bomb embedded in my chest. And no, I'll never know the meaning of the word humble. In fact, I find Delgado's idea of a security measure to be quite empowering. Glad you approve. Obviously, betrayal isn't taken lightly around here. Since I oversee the bulk of transactions and maintain all accounts for the fleet, I'm a prime target for information. Should our enemies capture me or I grew any semblance of a moral conscience, you might consider me the greatest threat we have. For Delgado, the bomb grants peace of mind and a certain degree of safety. It's been over 5 years since I've stepped off the key. Leaving this place puts far too much at risk. Now, let me get you set up. A moment while I convene with the core. Thanks to advanced modifications even Ryujin would envy, I can interface directly with our mainframe and the Galbank network. This allows me to move and clean credits faster and more efficiently than any run-of-the-mill cyber runner. There, you're done. All you need now is Delgado's blessing, and you'll be one of us. None. Other than my chest and arm modifications, I am but a simple man. Is the interview over now? Can we get back to work? The perfect segue into my final subject. Thanks to our relations with contacts across the galaxy, we always have a steady stream of jobs available. I've granted you all the necessary permissions to access these listings at any time, using the computers that surround the core. If Neva's chosen wisely, we certainly will. Now, I believe that covers all I have to say, so you can run along to Delgado. Take the elevator to the upper level. You should be able to find your way from there, I hope.
Alright, listen up. You can all stop complaining. Atrium to cargo bay doors have been repaired. Oh, and you're welcome, Nev.
My prices may be high, but these goods ain't exactly easy to find. We can talk about whatever you want, as long as you got the creds. Come back and see me sometime. See anything you'll... Don't be a stranger.
Always ask for a bigger cut. It's all about making those credits.
I hope you actually need components. I hate wasting my time. I don't need to hear about your latest project. I just sell the materials. Behold, my random assortment. Oh, bye, I guess. You don't make it in this life without a good weapon. Well, well. Neva's new hotshot. I knew you'd find your way back to my little corner of the key. Everyone always does. Take a look around, genius. And don't tell me you've never laid eyes on a gun before. But just in case I need to spell it out for you, the merch I carry is known as weapons and ammunition. Get it? Hey, if you want to pour credits into my pocket, you won't hear any arguments from me. I carry most of the standard hardware. You know, kinetics, electromags, energy, even a few explosives. Occasionally, I stock a few smuggled items. Basically the stuff SysDev doesn't want you to play with. Just don't screw me over or I'll be inclined to give you a free demo. With your head as the target. Not being intimidated by me is one thing. The fleet? That's another. A little advice, Sadiqi? The fleet's trust can't be bought. You earn it. You bleed for the fleet bleeds for you. Pure and simple. Anyone who says otherwise is either lying or getting ready to stab you in the back. Ah, please, I don't need your concern. All I care about is separating you from your credits. So let's leave our professional relationship at that, all right? Whatever you need, as long as you can afford it. All right, see you around.
The fleet protects our own. You turn against us.
Heading out. May, want to look into some armor upgrades first. The right gear can be the difference between life or death. See ya.
Ask a Jazz about any ship upgrades. Nothing worse than a pirate ship with no personality. Need a drink? Bog and the Last Nova will be more than happy to take your credits.
Every captain here's earned their stripes, bleeding.
If I had a Birian crest, I'd run my own city, like they you. Except in my town, you could do Aurora anywhere.
Samina can do more than patch you up. She's got a drugs of every kind. Know what I
Where did your stellar rise to infamy begin?
In the streets of New Atlantis. No parents, no godparents. Just a homeless punk kid robbing whoever he could for the credits.
Were these violent crimes? Murders?
I'm a bit offended you even asked that question, Gale. Sure, a few people walked away with injuries, but I'm not some kind of butcher.
That doesn't sound as heartless as your reputation would imply.
Well, like I said, I was just a kid.
Were you ever caught by the authorities in New Atlantis?
Oh, dozens of times. I'd just give them a fake name, or they just slap me on the wrist and send me on my way. They obviously didn't think that I'd amount to anything. So wait, say that again. You think I'm home?
Stop playing games. we both know your real name is Lionel Soto, and you know why I'm here.
Who are you? Fleet? Ecliptic? An independent?
I've spent 2 long years and every credit I had looking for you, just so I could look you in the eye before I pulled the trigger.
Hey, what's with the gun? There must be some mistake. I honestly don't know who you are.
Of course you don't know who I am. You're never concerned with the death you leave in your wake, in your pursuit of greed. You killed my husband, you son of a bitch! And now I'm going to kill you!
Such a terrible shame. All that time and money she wasted. Ah, well. Better get rid of the body.
Let me just ask you one final question before we wrap up.
Fine. Go ahead.
When is enough going to be enough?
Smuggling,
How many
stealing,
credits does
pirating,
Jasper
there's
Crick
a lot of
need
ways to
until
earn some
he's
scratch
satisfied?
I should have expected you'd ask such a stupid question. How the hell could you ever understand? You with your fancy education and your sheltered upbringing and your cushy media job? Me,
Those mission boards
I
aren't
came
going to
from
clear
nothing.
themselves.
Everything I own, I've literally drawn blood to gain.
There's no need to get personal. I'm simply trying to state the facts so that our listeners can make
Got some
judgments
health
of their own.
issues you need help with?
Lady, I got news for you. Half of your listeners think I'm a hero. Always the other half are scared out of their goddamn minds. And they should be.
Perhaps we should talk about something else.
No, that's it. We're done. Can you guys get her the hell out of here? Make sure she takes all this sound equipment with her.
Trade
Well,
Authority
that's it
takes
then.
anything and everything.
Thank you for your...
Actually, before you go, Gail, there's one more thing I would like to say.
Yes, of course. What is it?
When you broadcast this interview on SSNN, I want you to remember that I'll be listening. If you edit even one word or manipulate my voice to change anything I've said, I will hunt you down and kill you. In front of everyone. Do you understand?
I understand. You have my word.
I hope you've brought me something interesting. What'll it be, friend? Buying, selling? The Trade Authority takes anything and everything. The fleet's got an impressive commerce system. They even managed a legitimate doctor among their ranks. Business on the Key is like no other. It's the sole reason I'm here. For the credits. Not everyone thinks so. I'm still Trade Authority, not a part of the fleet. There are a few, Neva included, that see me as an outsider. Regardless, as long as the fleet has goods to push, the Trade Authority will always maintain a presence on the Key. I hope you're not low on credits. Your credits are always good at the Trade Authority.
Is Samina seeing anyone right now? Patience, I got a sore hit. As long as you put the fleet first, we won't have progress.
Soon, everyone was going to learn to fear the fleet.
Don't challenge Bob to five-finger fillet. God, his hands are made of cinder blocks and cigarettes.
Why is it every time we go out and do a job, it's you who ends up with all our friends?
My friend's got a point, dog. Every pirate in this joint comes to the Nova for a drink.
Seems to me instead of selling deep space for stick change, you got a much bigger target right here at home.
Jingo in those pockets.
Hello, Rook? Boss Boba by the back wall.
We may not have official security on the key, but we're always looking out for traitors.
I'd kill for some more grog. I literally wrapped my hands around a man's throat and squeeze.
Been hearing some stuff about the Mantis being back. If I ever find that bastard, the things I do to them.
Need something?
Looking to make quick work of your enemies?
So, tell us about Jasper Crix's version of the Crimson Scar.
All I can tell you is that under my guidance, the Crimson Scar became more influential than every other syndicate combined. Here I was, 22 years old, and I had power, people that followed my orders, and an endless stream of credits. Gale, I have to tell you, I was having the time of my life.
So you'd consider extortion, robbery, burglary, kidnapping, assault, and murder to be positive life influences?
No. I'd consider them as just means to an end. Those so-called crimes were merely stepping stones until I had enough wealth to buy the Crimson Scar a few spacecraft.
Yes, let's talk about that. It appears you weren't satisfied with terrorizing New Atlantis alone.
Oh, I've never stopped reaching, Gale. The amount of money we were making in New Atlantis was decent, but the really big scores were in space on the cargo ships. We're talking millions of credits, maybe more. Who the hell could count it all?
Most people assume this is when the UC decided to actively set up a task force to pursue the Crimson Scar.
That's correct. Those idiots in charge of the United Colonies were clearly embarrassed that they had allowed the Crimson Scar to make the jump into space. They sent ships after us. Lots of ships. I almost think that they enjoy starting wars.
Perhaps this was the first time you had finally reached too far.
You could say that. I count my time running the Crimson Scar as a learning experience.
So big, the trackers are like
I wouldn't say I reached too far. I'd say I reached too fast. Didn't cover all my bases. Made some stupid mistakes. One thing's for certain, though. When I was finally arrested and thrown into the lock, I had plenty to think about.
Choice.
We call UCC staff sharks, but to the fleet, they're just bait.
Hey, champ. I'm including this month's list of parts I need for the key. Don't bust a gut. It's hefty, but I know you can handle it. I'm gonna need a lot more than usual this time. I'm planning to overhaul the entire electrical system before it completely shorts out. Oh yeah, thanks for sending over the key's reactor specs. I can't tell you exactly why I needed those. Dell said to keep it hush-hush. As far as next month's shipment, start scrounging up some parts so I can spruce up our defensive batteries. They're looking kind of rusty.
You might think it's funny.
Well, I guess that's it for now. I'll have my people in New Atlantis drop off the payment at the spaceport. Just make sure you aren't being followed. We wouldn't want the UC to know they're providing replacement parts to the Crimson Fleet.
If you need credits, hit up the mission boards at the core.
Got mixed feelings about my last job. On the one hand, lost a friend. But on the other hand, I got the credits. Still have nightmares about that job in Cheyenne. It was worth every credit. Gotta make sure to train every day. Bad aim and bad health will get you killed.
You've done that before.
UC will never crush the fleet. They'd have to catch us first.
Those crabs ain't gonna steal themselves.
Ah, really good. You always work your ass off and get stuck with ops.
Need to have Aludra take a look at this kinetic. Recoil's off.
Tell us about your arrest.
Oh, my arrest was spectacular. Definitely one for the record books. UC Security sent an armada after our little fleet of ships and picked us off one by one until the remainder of us made it to the wheel.
For our listeners' benefit, that was the star station in orbit around Volai that you destroyed just before your arrest, correct?
You see,
So there I
that's
am.
what they'd have
You
you
see
believe.
security on my
But the
tail,
truth
and
is much less sinister.
just jokes. And you know what I
There was a firefight on the wheel when they tried to bring us in. We holed up, but UC Security unleashed hell. The damage they caused was
Tell us what the future holds for the Crimson Fleet.
changes are coming, Gale. Huge changes. Crimson Fleet will soon be a much bigger player in this little game between the members of the settled systems.
That's quite a bold statement. Would you care to elaborate?
Well, let's just say that I'm on the brink of a score so large, it makes everything else pale in comparison. Beyond that, you'll just have to wait and see.
If you aren't willing to discuss the details, why grant SSNN this interview?
Simple. I refuse to allow the UC to spin or bury the story, making it sound like they're in complete control of the situation. I'm gonna tell you right now, they aren't.
Why does the Crimson Fleet need to make this mysterious move that you're being so evasive about?
I know SysDef instructed you to draw this meeting out as long as possible. So let me sum this up. I intend to make sure that the Crimson Fleet becomes the United Colony's worst nightmare. And nothing, I mean nothing in this universe
that would disagree with you and claim this interview is grandstanding, or worse, a recruitment tool. After all, SSNN reaches every corner of the settled systems, and your aspirations could inspire the directionalist to turn to the fleet.
You and the sheep that listen to your garbage can believe whatever the hell you want. You were so worried about what I had to say, you wouldn't have allowed yourself to be brought here.
So, now that we are all here, it's time to get down to business. The two of you are the only Rooks that have made the latest cut. The rest, well, let's just say they won't be joining us ever again. Neva's willing to put her neck on the line and vouch for you, which means you've got what it takes to join the Crimson Fleet. You'd better not disappoint, or you'll find yourself answering to me, personally. All right, let's get started here. When you sign up with the Crimson Fleet, you're in it for the long haul. No one quits. No one retires. The only way out is death. You stay loyal or you pay the consequences. Fleet before friends. Fleet before family. Fleet before yourself. Boss. Good. You're getting it already. I like that.
Can we get on with this? I want to get drunk at the last Nova.
I'm impressed. That is the first intelligent thing you have said this entire time, Mathis. Since you two seem so eager to move forward, let's get to your next job. Pack your cold weather gear, Rooks. Where we are going, you're going to need it.
Oh, God, don't tell me you're dragging him down to Suvarol for another one of your little initiation runs. 10 Johns to the surface, 12 dead Rooks. You'd think by now you would have given up on that goddamn campfire story.
Crix's legacy is no story, Neva. We've got fresh eyes in the fleet. And if these two want to impress, they're going to help me search those ruins.
I hope you're right, Dale. That new code we grabbed for the lot cost us a ton of credits. And a decent captain.
This initiation, as Neva calls it, is your chance to see where it all began. On Suvorov with Jasper Crix. Crix led the riots that gave birth to the Crimson Fleet. And if his legacy is still out there, we're going to be the ones to find it. Through a bit of luck and a hell of a lot of cash, Neva was able to get her hands on an access code to the inside of the lock. This will be the first time someone from the Crimson Fleet has set foot in there for, well, since Crix left the place behind. It has been frustrating being this close to potential clues, but not being able to find a way through those prison walls. Before Crix left the fleet, he left a message talking about a major score. One that would set up the fleet to be a big player in the settled systems. Somewhere down the line, they started calling it Crix's legacy. And everyone who's tried to find it has wound up empty-handed, missing, or dead. If we're gonna beat those odds, we'll first need a lead. And I would wager we will find one on Suvorov.
Dale's leaving out the best part. That this whole search is based on a handful of words on a very old slate. Crix left a lot of big talk on that recording, and not a lot of facts. Some of us believe in it more than others.
Don't listen to her. When we get our hands on Crix's legacy, the fleet will be operating at a completely different level. We will become more than a match for UC Systef. You forget the UC is still licking its wounds from the colony wars. They don't have the capability to mount a full-scale assault. And if they were foolish enough to attack, we would have the manpower to push those pendejos right back to Jemison. If we have Crix's legacy. Exactly. Now you're beginning to understand. Okay, enough discussion. We have got a lot of work to do. To that end, The next stop is the lock. I've had Jazz feed the coordinates into your ship's computer. Since Mathis doesn't have a ship, he's going to ride with me. I'll see you down there, Rook. Don't keep me waiting. I could tell you stories that would last for hours. But now is not the time. You have a job to do, and I don't like to be kept waiting. When you... well, if you get back to the key, I am sure you can find some copies of the interview he gave to SSNN around here, somewhere. I think those recordings might give you the history lesson that you are looking for. Yeah, I suppose. What did you want to know? There is no deal. You and Mathis are two sides of the same coin. A couple of rooks fighting for a spot in the fleet. Only problem is that he is down a ship and you are not, which puts you ahead. Just barely. Who knows? Maybe he'll get lucky and you won't make it off Suvorov in one piece. It's cold. Bitter cold. Just about the last place you would want to find yourself without heat. The few living things that can survive the extreme temperatures are constantly fighting to stay at the top of the food chain. The Crimson Fleet called Suvorov the White Hell. To me, it's paradise. Someone up here pisses me off enough, I send them down to the surface for a little overnight visit. Snaps them right back into line. The UC built the lock as a Supermax prison a little under... well, it must have been at least 100 years ago. Before that, those concha de sus madres marooned prisoners on the planet's surface and left them to their own devices. As you can imagine, these turned into some kind of demented survival of the fittest. Prisoners killing each other for a chance at meager supplies. Luckily, some whistleblowers back in New Atlantis saw this as cruel and unusual punishment and pressured the UC into building the facility. 5 years after the prison was completed, Crix touched off the riots that overran the lock and eventually the key. Nobody knows exactly what went down. I mean, there's all sorts of rumors. Crix was in prison for almost 5 years, and judging from the look of the facility, every moment must have been miserable. I suppose he just got fed up and decided to take matters into his own hands. Got the prisoners behind him and kept pushing until he reached the key. The cojones on that guy. UC's toughest Supermax prison, and he just waltzed the hell out of there like it was nothing. I would love to have been a part of that. Fine, then get moving.
I don't know about you, but I think the welcome sign really lends itself to the alluring charm of this star station.
What kind of name is Sysdef anyway? I don't trust shielding. I got secret compartments on my ship just in case.
Smuggling beats a real job any day.
The fleet is family. Stealing from each other.
I'd be lying if I told you I was comfortable setting foot on this station.
I hope Bug has something strong enough to knock me out.
You might find a deal or two here. If you can overlook the spatters of blood covering all the stolen goods, of course.
Looking to make a deal? Let's see what we have now. I'm sure we can work something out. Remember, all trades are restriction-free.
Nothing like the smell of a dead shark.